Well, it's nearly over. Where am I? I'm in Asturias in northwestern Spain, about 2 hours from the final destination, which is Santander, and a meeting with, I'll meet up with Chloe tomorrow, my daughter. She's completely mastered, sorted out, conquered, call it what you will, the Camino Portuguese, starting in Porto and ending up in Santiago de Compostela, which she's completed, and I'm so chuffed about that. And my journey's completed almost as well. My journey started in Roscoff a month ago and took me down through France in what can only be described as horrendous conditions, enough to put you off everything basically for life. Certainly put you off biking, motorcycling, because I likened it to being sat in a seat with a waterproof jacket on and somebody spraying a hosepipe on you. And that went on for about 11 days with the acquisition of new clothes and new boots, because the other ones let the water in, and really was not a great time. The accommodation on the way down was okay. There's some nice places, and I will put a video together about the whole thing when I get back to the UK and I've got some decent Wi-Fi. We then continued down to Barcelona, stayed in that area, not actually in Barcelona, but very close to it. Went down to the Med Coast, had a little look. Weather wasn't great there neither. I mean, it was inclement. It was raining basically, and it wasn't overly warm. But then I moved into the foothills of, I don't know what mountains they are. They're not the Pyrenees, but into Spain, sort of just on a level with Tarragona, and the weather started to improve, and I had some great places to stay. And then as I moved across Spain, which was a hell of a journey, going to places like Segovia and Avila, amazing weather, very long journeys. Each day was, coming on, some of them were like, minimum 300, some of them 500k, which in hindsight wasn't a great idea, but it did finally get me to Portugal. And to me, that's where my trip really started, albeit 2.5 weeks after I actually embarked on the trip. Getting to Portugal was really the highlight, and had I realised how amazing Portugal is, I should have remembered. I've spent time there. I'd have gone sooner, because the roads are great, the weather was great, the scenery was incredible, the people were lovely, the food was good, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And then I made my way up the west coast of Portugal, gradually working back into Spain, into Galicia, where again I had another great stay and some incredible scenery, mountains, and it was fantastic. And then stayed in that area for 4 days, but 2 different places. One was fantastic. The other one was a great location, fantastic building, but unfortunately they'd sort of converted old farm buildings into apartments, and each apartment was superb. It was absolutely superb, but you could hear everything from the neighbour next door. So Spanish TV up really loud, conversations really loud, going on till late at night. It was nothing like the peace and quiet and tranquility they advertised it as, which was a shame. And so I left there this morning, and unfortunately the weather turned back to basically how it's been, or how it was at the start of the trip, nearly a month ago now, only just a few days short of a month. And I rode another 350k today through torrential rain, fog with visibility down to 20 feet, which was just awful on the autovia, i.e. motorway. I was travelling at 35 miles an hour. And so were the cars around me. I mean, you couldn't see anything at all. It was just like a blanket in front of you. It was awful. But I finally got here. I'm just outside Olivedo, with 2 hours to run to Santander tomorrow. So that's kind of my trip, Pracy, down to just a it's probably going to be 10-minute video, I suppose, by the time I put it together. And it's had some really brilliant highlights, but it has had some moments for me to reflect on and realise that this will be the final long distance, month-long journey on a motorcycle. I'm kind of done with it, really. And whether I keep the motorcycle or whether I sell it is completely in the balance at the moment. Completely in the balance. The way I feel at the moment, I just gonna get shot of it. I feel like if I get back to Coverack without, somebody knocking me off or whatever else, getting robbed, then I will have done extremely well, because the challenges have been there, many places, and probably the most challenging place of all is back actually in the UK, a country now that I kind of lost faith with completely. But I've looked at problems that face these other countries, and they're all pretty similar, really. They're all saying the same things, They don't want this, they don't want that. They do want this, they do want that. And nobody seems very happy. Unrest and complaints just about everywhere you go. So I don't think any one place is particularly better in Europe at the minute. I think the whole place is just basically gone to the dogs. So what does that leave for me when I get back? Well, I'm going back to get some work done. Sarah, my wife's been holding the fort the entire time and done an excellent job, and not only just held the fort like she would do normally if I was away, but had to do it because Chloe, our daughter, was away with well, not with me, but in Portugal and Spain as well. So get back and sort that out before we undertake a quite a busy period coming up. We've got a bit of a van trip in the new van coming off in the next couple of weeks, and then I'm participating in the bike festival at the Royal Cornwall Showground. That's the Bike Festival Southwest, which I'm going to be involved with. And the bike will be there. It might have a for sale ticket on it, who knows? You have to watch this space, basically. Any complaints about the bike? No, not at all. It's performed just as well as the Indian did. So no, I have no complaints at all. Was a month long enough, or was a month too long? A month was too long. I've always pooh-hooed people that say they do everything in a week, but I think a month's too long. I think probably 2 weeks, 3 weeks tops is enough, depending on where you're going, of course. But certainly the journey that I've done, a month was too long. Coming in to France and riding down through France, which is what I always do, was something I shouldn't have done, because I've done it loads of times now, and really I was just, what was I doing? I was covering old turf, really. Very familiar with all of it, and so really as an adventure, as something to get you kind of excited, didn't really kick off until I got into sort of middle of Spain. Would I do it on my own again? Would I travel on my own again? Probably not. Always a great big supporter of solo travel, but I think when you solo travel for a month and you don't see anybody for a month, other than foreign people who don't speak your language or you don't speak theirs, more to the point, there is times when you could just sit down and have a good old chat with somebody, and that has not been possible until basically meeting up with my daughter Chloe the other night. So to do it on my own again, no. But then I'm not going to do it again, so it's irrelevant, really. So there you go. The trip in 10 minutes, basically. As I say, there will be a longer video put together with all the various bits and pieces on it. If I can drag it all back up from what I've already put out. And yeah, see you all back in the UK. And like I say, Bike Festival Southwest, if you are a biker, or you have an interest in bikes, or whether you just fancy a good weekend away or a good day out, come and see us down there, Royal Cornwall Showground, in July. Cheers for now.